What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Resident Evil video, and of course, welcome to the Mod Kid channel. I was looking through some of my older content from a few summers ago, and I found a video that I wanted to redo because I figured I could change my list up a lot and pretty much make it a completely different video. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and break down the top 10 scariest moments in Resident Evil history. I did this video back in July of 2023, so I'm really excited to go ahead and give this topic another go. Starting off our list at number 10 is The Keeper's Diary from Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 1 Remake. This was the only kind of good jump scare that I could find from the original RE1 and the RE1 remake, so I figured it deserved a spot somewhere in this top 10 list. First, you find yourself in this really small kind of room, and then from behind comes out a zombie out of the closet, but also there's some really good lore behind it after you take out that zombie and read that file. This file has the classic line, "Itchy, tasty."
Why are you doing this? What do you accomplish by unleashing Ouroboros?
Every day, humans come one step closer to self-destruction. I'm not destroying the world, I'm saving it.
Now, making its way into number 9 is one of my favorite parts of Resident Evil 5, and that is the hangar fight against Albert Wesker. Anyone that's actually played this far into RE5 would know that it is not an easy feat to get this close to Albert Wesker, and it's very terrifying to actually have to wrap your head around the fact that you have to get close to him in order to inject him with the PG-67AW. Also, turning off all the spotlights in this area makes it extra spooky, but it also gives you a little bit of an advantage because Albert Wesker decided to wear his sunglasses at night, and it comes back to haunt him because he can't see you.
There! I've got you!
It means he's
Coming in at number 8 is a rather unfortunate part of Resident Evil Revelations 2. The game gives you a really good section that feels quite similar to the cabin fight in Resident Evil 4, but then one of your partners, Pedro, starts to go crazy and a little bit freaked out, which causes his bracelet to make him mutate. So fighting Pedro in that little bar area is spooky enough, but when you're playing as Barry and Natalia, he gives you a classic Mr. X breaking through the wall jump scare. So there's a couple of reasons why Pedro deserves a spot in this list.
Shit! Run!
Coming in at number 7 is, in my experience, probably the scariest part of Resident Evil 6. Ustanak serves as the tyrant/stalker enemy in Jake and Sherry's campaign, and there's a really scary section of their chapter, which is the ice caves. And there's a lot of sections to that part that require a lot of running and also hiding from him at the same time. There's a couple of bats around this section, and if they detect you, they will alert Ustanak of your presence. And if you make any kind of sound like firing your weapon, he is gonna hear you and he is gonna directly chase you down instantly, forcing you and your partner to find the closest shelter possible, because if he catches any of you, then you guys will be dead immediately. So Ustanak in the ice caves is definitely gonna be making its way in this list. Now, next up at number 6 is going to be the Nosferatu boss fight. When playing Code Veronica, they give you a pretty good chance to actually get a feel of Nosferatu with a couple of cutscenes leading up to this boss fight, but you don't exactly expect this fight to happen when you're new to this game. So Claire and Steve will be making their way down these stairs to go on to the next part of the game, and you will be cut off by Nosferatu, which really does not give you much time to prepare for the fact that you are now going to have to fight this guy. And if you're not careful enough, he can actually knock you off the ledge, which will just instantly kill you, and he can also poison you, so there's a lot of reasons why you don't want to mess with him. Now we've made it into the top 5 scariest moments of Resident Evil, and this one is one of the most classic jump scares in all of Resident Evil history. The two-way mirror liquor jump scare has definitely seemed to have gotten every single player on their first time through, whether it was the original RE2 or the remake. In my experience, I've always tried to figure out what causes this liquor to activate this jump scare, and I've never been able to truly figure out what it is that takes this liquor to actually jump out of the window. I used to think that it was if you picked up the first item in this room and tried to leave, it would activate this jump scare, or if you were playing on playthrough B, it just wouldn't happen, but none of those things are the case, and it always seems to catch me off guard every time. Now at number 4 is probably one of the grossest / creepiest parts of all of RE7. I just absolutely hate the fact that there's so many bugs scattered around this section of RE7, which leads up to the Marguerite Baker boss fight. But then when you finally make it to the old house, you are finally forced to take down Marguerite Baker, and she's got a really creepy sack of bugs or whatever on her body that you have to take out. And she can also crawl around up the walls and up the ceiling, and it can also result in you just absolutely losing sight of her. And then she can just completely drop down in front of you and give you one heck of a jump scare. This one is going to be making its way into the top 3 scariest moments in all of Resident Evil history, and when I made this list back in 2023, I immediately regretted the fact that I did not include this fight at all on my top 10 list. Just the sight of Verdugo alone is definitely one of the creepiest additions to Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4 Remake. The scene leading up to it too, where you get Verdugo's POV and he's following you from behind through the doors that you just went through, is a really creepy sight to see as well. So Verdugo will officially be making its way into number 3.
Jill!
Brad!
We've gotta... Jill! Help!
Now, at number 2 is probably one of the scariest jump scares in all of RE history, at least in my opinion. So when you make it to the R.P.D, you get to see Brad Vickers get absolutely taken out by Nemesis, which results in you fighting Nemesis for the first time, and when you take him out, he falls over, you think, okay, he's done, you get his loot, you go into the R.P.D, you do all of your looting up, then you get the radio call from Carlos in the STARS office, make your way back down those stairs, and you get greeted with one absolutely terrifying jump scare. You don't expect Nemesis to come through that window because you already taken him out outside of the entrance of the R.P.D, but if you even try to run away from him, he will follow you into the office and everything, so you are forced to fight him. Now, in my opinion, the scariest moment in Resident Evil history is the giant baby from Resident Evil 8 Village. There's so many reasons why this part is just the scariest section of RE8 and also any RE game in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys could agree with that. It's already bad enough that we don't have any weapons to defend ourselves, so if this giant baby even gets a hold of you, then you are just gonna be instantly dead and it'll be game over. This game does a really good job of making sure this giant baby cuts you off at all sections, so it kind of forces you to get real familiar with this house so that you can walk your way around each hallway and try to avoid him at all costs. But if you guys can't take my word for it and you don't believe that this is the scariest part of a Resident Evil game, then why don't you just see the reactions of some of these YouTubers and streamers that have played this game as well.
The only source of power. What the freak is that? What? What the hell?
So there we have it, guys. That's gonna go ahead and wrap up my top 10 scariest moments in Resident Evil history. This list had a lot of different entries than my video that I made back in 2023, and because my video from 2023 was so long ago, in fact it was almost 2 years ago, I figured why not make this video all over again. So if you guys had fun watching this video, make sure you guys drop a big like on this video and also subscribe and hit the bell because I post daily Resident Evil Reverse content. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.